Hello everybody. Here and it's really pretty today. Nice and cool. I spent the morning at the beach meditating and doing my yoga. It's been in my heart to talk about humility, which I actually find a difficult subject to talk to without somebody sitting in front of me. Not very many people talking about humility today or even teaching about it. It's become a rarity that it's important to anyone. I've found in my own life for the last 30 years that it's been in the forefront of my search, finding compassion, finding love, becoming a better person, becoming a better father, becoming a better man, in every relationship that I choose to be involved in. Without humility, I don't see how we evolve. I don't see how we grow. I don't see how we become compassionate. Everything is so centered around selfishness and what I want, me, mine, and there is no focus on a path of humility or humbling oneself. To me, it's a completely lost virtue. There's a lot of people searching for compassion and love and tenderness and kindness, and we're opening up, trying to become more of a world of unity, focusing on making things green, focusing on trying to save this cause or that cause, or so many different things. And I find for me, and the search that I'm in, and it's, I think, a very common search today. Many years ago, people really didn't want to hear anything I had to say. I found a lot of hatred and anger, and people that are very close to me, have completely rejected me. And all I've ever tried to share is to take responsibility for yourself. Don't make excuses for being unkind, and there isn't any. Don't blame other people for the difficulties in your own life. Again, take responsibility, stand up and choose to change them. There's that place of humbling oneself and admitting, I've created these circumstances, whether it's in this life or from our karma from the past life. We have to resolve the conflict within our own souls. To me, this is all a part of learning humility. Learning to humble oneself, learning to realize, and you notice I've said learning many times already in this video. We're all learning. Cut yourself some slack. Be gentle and kind to the people around you. Don't be so hard on everyone. And that's part of learning to be humble, is being kind and tender and compassionate. The thing that we neglect to see in ourselves and in the world around us, if we live in our ego and we just want to live life like, oh, there's nothing wrong, as my Japanese friends would say, daijobu, everything's fine, everything's perfect. I find for myself, even in this video, I'm having to hold back the tears because I find a lot of pain in my heart, and people could say, well, you must not be very mature if you're full of pain and sorrow. And I've come to see that there's no truth to that, because the more tender I become, the more compassionate I become, the more I humble myself and don't look to put myself first in what I want and what I need. I find the more burdened I become for the rest of the world, the more burdened I become for those who are suffering and caught up in sorrow, and they don't know how to resolve it, they don't know how to fix it, they don't know how to get out of it. And that's part of what I want to be able to do and devote my life to, is to help people to conquer the sorrow, help people to conquer the pain, help people to get past their illnesses, whether it's in the body, the mind, the spirit, and the soul, and they're all really kind of intertwined. And honestly, I've been meditating on doing this video for several days, And I had no idea what I was going to say, and a dear friend of mine said, Aaron, just speak from your heart like you always do. And probably even just a few months ago when I started doing these videos, I wouldn't have known how to be so vulnerable like that. I can do this with people, but I know this is going to go all over the world and people are going to see it everywhere. Part of humbling yourself is being willing to make yourself vulnerable. Being able to connect to people on a really deep level and feel their pain and their sorrow. And if you can't feel your own, I can promise you're not going to be able to feel anybody else's. I've learned that it's through the brokenness, and I've gone through so much brokenness in my life. I'm not complaining, not feeling sorry for myself. It's just a reality. I started life by getting burned with scalding hot coffee when I was 14 months old and spent 6 weeks in the hospital. My aunt told me recently my grandmother started cutting my shirt off and my diapers, everything, because everything was sticking to me. So, I understand pain and sorrow. I also understand if we don't humble ourselves as a human race, then we're going to continue down this path of destruction. And this is what we have to change. We have to wake up. We have to admit our own mistakes and take responsibility for them as individuals. And as we do this as individuals and we humble ourselves and we take responsibility for our past mistakes, conflict, everything that is in our life, nobody's responsible for it except you. Nobody's responsible for my life except me. Everybody can help, give their input, but it sits on you and I to make the changes. So I guess that the biggest thing I can encourage today about humility is make it a purpose, make it a point, make it a priority in your life to seek and understand what is true humility, what does it mean to be a soul who has put a humble path before themselves. It doesn't mean you can't be a president. It doesn't mean you can't achieve. It doesn't mean you can't have a lot of money. It just means, how do we handle it? People look at all the money that you have. It's not just for you. It's to be able to help the people in need. When we're given a lot with wisdom and maturity, it's not just for us. It's to be able to help the people who need this. So, I feel like in this one, I've been asked to do something. It's not so easy to do, is to be completely me and be completely vulnerable. And I hope it touches somebody, because this is just me. This is who I am. I am very happy most of the time, but there's this place that you see today. It's very humbling to feel this pain and sorrow for other people. It's humbling to feel it for myself. But when I got ran over by the cow and it broke up my neck and back, I was forced into this position. I was forced into a place of being humbled. I was really close to a wheelchair, and I couldn't even pour myself a glass of water until I got a water machine. And I wouldn't trade it. I'm focusing as I travel the world and I start sharing and teaching, never to lose this place of seeking humility. So I would encourage each one of you, if you really want to open up your heart and you want to find a spiritual path, and start in your meditations and in your prayers and asking for humility. And don't ever give up on it. I say this with as much as I know how to. And thank you, and I hope that something in this touches your heart. You can find me on my Facebook if you want to contact me. With much aloha today. And those of you who are not from Hawaii or never been, aloha means love. So with much love and compassion, I'll close this out today. Thank you.